What is the difference between a meltdown and a shutdown? In today's video, we're going to be talking about the difference and how you can respond to someone having a meltdown or a shutdown. Here we go. Well, hello to people, how you guys doing? I hope you're doing well, and if you're brand new to my channel, I talk about autism on a weekly basis, so if that sounds interesting to you and you want to see more, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell, just so you don't miss out on any future videos. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the differences between an autism meltdown and an autism shutdown. Now, if you don't know what an autism meltdown is or an autism shutdown is, do not worry, I'll explain what each one means. Now, I'm going to talk about autism meltdowns first, and if you didn't know what an autism meltdown is, it's basically an outward expression of anger, frustration, a mixture of intense emotions that someone can't handle, usually brought on by a trigger of some sort or just a multitude of different triggers over a period of time that result in an autistic person maybe losing control of themselves, lashing out in frustration, crying, kicking, screaming, basically an outward expression, like I say, of emotion. One of the common triggers for people to have a meltdown may be related to sensory stuff. So someone may experience sensory overload, which is where an autistic person's sense or multiple senses become overloaded by a various amount of stimuli. And some of the behaviors that can be exhibited through an autism meltdown, like I've said in this video already, crying, screaming, but some autistic people may experience and exhibit behaviors that are self-injurious. So they might bite themselves, pinch themselves, something like that. Literally, it depends on the person how someone experiences a meltdown. Now, when it comes to autism shutdowns, it is basically the flip side of things. Basically, an autism shutdown is basically an inward expression of emotion. Now, say for example, someone is overwhelmed by a lot of stimulus. Instead of expressing it outward, some autistic people, we express it inward, like we are unable to move or express how we are feeling. We've reached that high point of we can't take on any more stimulus or whatever it may be, and we just retreat into ourselves in order to give ourselves time to recover. So some of the examples of when someone's in the shutdown, they might not be able to move, like I say, or even blink or be able to verbalize what they are feeling at that present moment. Now, the difference between an autism meltdown and an autism shutdown is that they are two separate expressions. A meltdown is an outward expression and a shutdown is an inward expression. But I must say, someone may experience the same amount of stimulus one day and have a meltdown, and then the next day have a shutdown. Different stimuluses don't necessarily have to have the same reaction, And also, just because someone goes into an autism meltdown does not mean they can't go into a shutdown. Literally, someone could have a meltdown and then come out of that, but then retreat into themselves to recover from that really intense experience. I just wanted to point that out here because this is obviously a video about autism meltdowns and shutdowns, and I just wanted to give you the full lowdown and just information. Now, I want to give you guys some pointers on how to respond to an autism meltdown and a shutdown. Basically, some of these will interlink, but some of them are specific to meltdowns and shutdowns. And really the first one is really to ensure that the person is safe, making sure they can't hurt themselves or other people. Now, I feel this one is really pointing at meltdowns because if someone is in a meltdown, they may lose control of themselves. For me personally, my pain threshold goes up. Maybe it's because I become so overwhelmed by everything that, I don't know, just that sense goes during that moment. So if you're with someone who's having a meltdown, it's just important to ensure that they're not able to hurt themselves or anyone else around them. And I think this is quite important with a shutdown as well, because a shutdown can feel kind of like a depression in a sense. Like, it's very weird. Like, you retreat into yourself, and when I've gone through shutdowns before, it is quite lonely. They may need to feel to harm themselves. Like, I've experienced that before. I'll be point blank honest with you. Sometimes I've gone into a shutdown, not knowing it was a shutdown. I felt the need to feel something, which obviously is not good. So if someone is experiencing a shutdown, again, it is important to make sure that they are safe and not able to hurt themselves in any way, especially if they are incredibly vulnerable. Another way to respond to an autism meltdown or a shutdown is knowing what will help the person. Maybe dimming the lights will help, maybe turning all the music off, maybe trying to dim down noise, whatever it may be. Maybe they just need something safe and secure that they know. So maybe like they have a favorite sensory toy, for example, or they just need something that they feel personally quite attached to, just to make them feel grounded and safe. You know, it's just knowing what will help them during that moment, whatever it may be. Now, a good way to respond to a meltdown is just to remain calm. You know, if you are calm and you're able to talk to the autistic person in a calm way, that influence will be helpful. It helps me personally. If someone I know is calm and I'm like panicking and stuff, it helps me be calm. Like I say, an autism meltdown is a reaction to something that has happened. Some autistic people may not know or understand why they're feeling that way. So it's important just to remain calm and just to be understanding generally. Another good way to respond to an autism meltdown or a shutdown is really to allow them recovery time. Autism meltdowns, as you can probably tell from this video, they can be intense, because for me, when I've experienced a shutdown or a meltdown, I feel incredibly drained afterwards and I can't really do much. I'll try my best to do stuff, but I'm not 100% basically. So giving autistic people that time to recover is so important, I think, and it's one of the best ways you can respond. The best way to respond to an autism meltdown or shutdown is just to be understanding, just to understand that yes, we are having a meltdown and there's a lot of emotion with that, or we're having a shutdown and we're like internalizing our feelings basically. But I think it's important to understand that, you know, we're not able to control a meltdown from happening or a shutdown from happening because it's from an external source. So I think it is just going into that situation with the understanding that we are the same person, you know, we are not different, you know, we're just having a difficult time, and it's just, you know, going with that open mind and just trying to understand why, understand the reasoning behind why it's happening, because sometimes it can be an easy fix, you know, but some things may need a little bit more time and understanding in order to figure out what has actually led to that meltdown or that shutdown, you know? So yes, understanding I think is incredibly important, but actually what tips do you have for anyone going through a meltdown? Any tips for shutdowns at all? I would love to know just any experiences, just anything you want to say down below in the comments. I do fully appreciate it, and I do read all of them as well, and I do love reading them and responding back to people as well. But for now, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button so I know, subscribe to the channel if you are brand new and you want more. Stay you, stay indie, have a great day guys, and I'll see you all next time.